Welcome, my dear students of class 9A, to my history class. Today's lesson, chapter number 7, topic the Cholas. Some points which I have mentioned in the board, please look at it. Points are as mentioned here: introduction, sources, literary and archaeological, monuments, architecture, religion. These are the points now I am going to explain. Now, introduction. In my introduction, I shall introduce you the reign of the Cholas of South India. You know, there were three most prominent kingdoms in South India. They were the Cheras, they were the Pallavas, and the Cholas. Pandavas also were there, but the Cholas were the most prominent rulers, powerful rulers in South India. They dedicated their contributions in every field. For example, they constructed a number of temples, monuments. These were of great beauty and charm. They patronized the poets, architects, they patronized the writers, artists, painters. As a result, they were able to construct one of the most important and elegant, one of the most important and magnificent temple, Brihadeshvara temple or Raja Rajeshvara temple. You know, this temple was constructed by Raja Raja I, the famous ruler of the Chola dynasty, Raja Raja I. He constructed the Brihadeshvara or Raja Rajeshvara temple. Later I shall discuss about them. But the Pallavas, the Pandavas and the Cholas, they all ruled in South India with their skills, with their talents. But out of three, the Cholas had established them strongly in South India. After the decline of the Gupta Empire, the main kingdoms in South India established their political control. They were Pallavas, the Cholas, the Pandavas and the Cholas. The Cholas, after a long struggle, emerged as a dominant force in South India. The other also tried their best to chase the Cholas, but they were unable to do it so. And next point, sources, literary and archaeological. What are the literary sources? The Chola rulers were very fond of patronizing the poets, writers. As a result, in the field of education, there came a remarkable development. You know, a number of Tamil literature, poems also were written by the Tamil poets. The Chola Empire, the history of the Chola Empire, the role of the Chola rulers, their expeditions against their enemies, extension of their empire, dedication in the field of architecture, dedication in the field of constructing magnificent palaces, buildings, monuments, temples. Each and every part are thoroughly written by the writers. They wrote all these things in Tamil language. The foreign accounts of Mahavarman, one Ceylonese literature, it also gives us vivid impression about the Cholas. We come to know about the Cholas from historians like Marco Polo, Megasthenes, and Albiruni. They also have given us interesting ideas, interesting information about the Chola Empire, because they were the contemporary, travelers who came to India during the period when the Cholas were reigning. Now, archaeological sources. The other one, the archaeological sources. There were certain archaeological sources which describes about the Chola rule. The Chola rulers, were very conscious in constructing temples, monuments, and in constructing a number of educational centers, in encouraging the poets, writers. As a result, Raja I, was able to build that very magnificent temple, Raja Rajesvara or Brihadesvara temple. A number of inscriptions are found on the wall of the Raja Rajesvara temple about the expeditions of Raja I, his trading relations with foreign countries, the economic condition of the country, of the political, social, and economic condition of the contemporary society during their reign, the administrative system, taxation procedure, agriculture, the production. Each and every part of informations are there on the wall of Brihadesvara temple. Why? Because these were the source of information about the Cholas. This is the archaeological sources. The Chola, besides the Chola kings issued gold, silver and copper coins. Coins also gives us necessary archaeological information. The chronology we get from the coins. And next one, monuments. A number of monuments were constructed by the Chola rulers, Chola kings. They were the great lovers of art and architecture. A number of roads were constructed. A number of canals, palaces and cities were constructed by the Chola rulers. Majority of the Chola temples were built in a specific style. The Chola temples in the early period were simple structures, but later it became bigger in size. The main shrine of the temple was called Garbhagriha. Of gods and goddesses were kept in the gateway was known as Gopuram. Garbhagriha and Gopuram are the two characteristic features of the Chola art and architecture. God and goddesses were kept, and the gateway was known as Gopuram, the entrance hall, the gateway through which pilgrims would come and enter into the temple and reached Garbhagriha. This system was introduced in the Chola art and architecture, Chola style of art and architecture, Garbhagriha and Gopuram. First Gopuram, then Garbhagriha. And inside the Garbhagriha, their god and goddesses were installed. and pilgrims would come and pay tribute, pay respect, worship them from there. The images were mainly built of bronze or stone. The images of God and goddesses were mainly built of bronze and stone. In front of the main shrine, there was an audience hall. That very audience hall was known as Mandapa. This audience hall was constructed by the Chola rulers in order to attend religious meetings, in order to conduct religious meetings, and audience would come to attend the religious meetings, to hear religious discussions. Both the two sides, audience and Chola rulers, would present there, would come and present there, and would hear the religious discussions, and also ask a number of questions about religion, about social, political, and economic problems of the people. In the Brihadeshwara temple or Raja Rajeshwara temple, which was constructed by Raja Raja I, it was constructed at Tanjavur. The best example of the Chola architecture is this temple, Brihadeshwara temple or Raja Rajeshwara temple. It was built in 1000 CE by the Chola king Raja Raja I and dedicated to the Lord Shiva. The bronze image of Lord Shiva as a Nataraj or Lord of Dance displays grace and vigor and has been considered as the cultural epitome of the Chola period. Chola ruler Raja Raja I constructed the Brihadeshwara temple at Tanjavur in order to dedicate it for the god Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is represented in the form of Nataraj, in dancing mode, and this image of Lord Shiva in dancing mode is installed in the Garbhagriha of the Brihadeshwara temple, and Nandi Mandapa also was there, means pillar portico, assembly of 8.6 meters high, single block of stone that weighs almost 80 tons. The temple interior walls are decorated with magnificent sculpture and elaborate paintings. Another example of the Chola temple was architecture. King Rajendra Chola, the son of Raja Raja I, in his capital Gangaikonda Cholapuram, the temple is considered to be similar to the temple at Tanjavur. The paintings and design of the temple at Tanjavur and Gangaikonda Cholapuram considered to be excellent specimens of art. It was constructed by the son of Raja Raja I, Rajendra Chola, and this temple has been declared a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. World Heritage Site by UNESCO. Which temple? The Brihadeshwara Raja Rajeshwara temple. But later on, the temple in Syria's wall, King Rajendra wall in his capital, he also built some temples in his capital Gangaikonda Cholapuram. The temple is considered to be similar to the temple at Tanjavur. The paintings and designs on the walls of the temples are considered to be excellent specimens of art. It has been declared a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. Why? Because of its architecture, paintings, because of its style, and because of its huge expenditure, attraction, dedication of the kings. For that reason, UNESCO is considered it to be World Heritage. The Chola inscription informed the temples were the centers of social activity. The temples were the centers of social activity of the people, the religious activities of the people, religious activities of the religious leaders. The temples were the centers of education. Tamil poets would come and they created their poems within that premises of the Chola temple. there was a huge, open space for the, for the people who would come, for the students who would come and receive education from their teachers, and at the same time they would visit, they would witness the temple, and outside the temple also there was, a system of attracting the visitors so that they would come and visit the temple repeatedly repeatedly. And besides, the temples looked after the welfare of the works of the providing food, housing facilities, sheltering each and every work. A arrangement also is done for the pilgrims who would come from abroad and stayed there. And besides, the Chola rulers also constructed a number of schools, and the priests of temple were the local teachers, and the schools were held in the courtyards of the temple. As I mentioned earlier, the students were taught in both Tamil and Sanskrit. Since the text Vedas also were taught, that's why religious teachings were in Sanskrit, and Tamil also was taught to the students as it was the widely spoken language. Almost all people, they like to receive education through their mother tongue Tamil. That's why Tamil was widely spoken language, and hence the teachers taught both in Tamil and Sanskrit. The knowledge of Sanskrit was very important. That's why teachers tried their level best to make them understand the grammatical form of Sanskrit, and in course of time students would receive the knowledge of Sanskrit. So this is about the Chola inscriptions. This is about the Chola religion, architecture, monuments, and literary and archaeological sources. Up to this, my dear students, all of you must learn it properly. If you have any doubt, any confusion, ask me questions. Thank you.